Hello, fan flaggers. Look who's
Hello.
here. It's the Easter Bunny.
It's the Easter Bunny. Mel couldn't be here today because she put this stupid thing on her head. However, she's now going to take this off. And here I am.
Melody has a long interaction with
With
the Easter Bunny.
It's true. One day I'll tell you all about it. I've told my friends. My friends know. But I once won an award
Yep,
for.
I had some involvement, and
Yes,
we were ripped off by the Herald Examiner.
we were. We were two kids. We wrote the script. I put on the stupid bunny outfit, and we did the um
Downey Way at a Broadway contest.
right, and it was about how the Easter Bunny was mad and was going to tell everybody off. And the next, what was it, 4 days later, the local newspaper ripped us off, word for word.
Almost word for word. So
So
obviously he was there watching the show and heard us and decided, hey, I'll steal this.
that's a good idea. There's my column for tomorrow.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was. But back then, you know, it was no
What were we going to
redress.
do?
Exactly. But
But
it told us that we had some writing chops. So.
and the fact that your zipper broke, that helped.
Yeah, yeah. I had a zipper up and down the front of the costume, and it broke on me. And I a little pudgier than the costume allowed, so it broke, and I had to keep it up, and I had to make jokes, and suffice to say, they felt sorry for me.
She said air conditioning, and the whole
Yes,
audience
cracked up. Yeah,
cracked up. So,
yeah,
and she beat a young man named Kevin Cade, who was a
yes,
very good singer.
very good. Yeah, and he's still
He said,
singing.
in fact, he sang at my wedding.
Huh? There you go.
Yep.
I guess he's not doing it anymore, though.
Well, you got to figure he's in his late 50s, early 60s, so
Yeah.
he's about my age, so it would be unlikely that his voice had survived.
Too true.
But you never know.
Well, Paul Simon was just saying this morning that he's not going to be singing a lot longer. And Paul McCartney said the same thing. So, it,
Well, your voices go when you get older.
yeah,
Someone I heard was still really good was Don McLean because he had a long stretch where he wasn't that popular and therefore wasn't
singing a
doing
lot. Yeah.
doing live shows, and that allowed his voice to stay usable.
Well, the way the my friend Lisa's nephews, old group Pentatonics, they had a voice uh, teacher and a doctor who dealt in that kind of medicine um, tour with them, and they would examine their throats. They had to be have 1 day of silence for every day of singing and that kind of thing. So they're very conscious of that now when it comes to vocal groups, especially the ones that solely use their voices. And I gather that would be helpful when they get older too, because they wouldn't be as back when the rockers all just thrashed their voices. It I don't want to
Well,
even think about what some of them sound like. It must be nightmarish.
Well, that's what happened to Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Is that she overpowered her voice rather than learning to sing within her voice. She overpowered it, and eventually that messes up your vocal cords, and you
Yeah.
lose the ability to sing.
Same thing that happened with McCartney. That he would, if he had stayed in his regular range, like yesterday and that kind of thing, he'd have been probably okay. But he had to do the rock stuff, and um, it just wrecked his voice. So anyway, such is life. That's what happens when you get older. But
We
we're
have
not
no
quite that
comments.
older.
Nobody's asked about Richard Halpern.
Oh, I get asked about Richard Halpern all the time.
Well, nobody has asked yet.
Oh, well, we have a couple of viewers. Who knows what's going to happen over on Twitter?
Now, just to let you know, in case you've tried to watch it, YouTube took down our Father's Day show. Uh, I had some movie trailers that I played on there. Those seemed to get us into trouble. They didn't used to, because the movie outfits wanted their trailers played. So they didn't usually bother anybody about it. But something's going on now, and YouTube accused me of spamming people. So we're going to just go away from clips and movie trailers, and because like I say, it just causes us trouble. So
And really, makes it not fun. When you have to go through that kind of crap. And I have a couple of trolls, as people know, that pull shit on stuff on me. So that's another thing we have to be careful of is naughty poo-poo words.
only you can use them if you designate your show is for adults.
Yeah.
But if you do that, it limits your viability, and people won't watch because they think it's X-rated or something. You know,
All we're doing
just
is saying F,
yes.
But
Well, you notice I very seldom say that word.
well, I know that, but that's because you have grandchildren around you. I now
Are you
have to watch.
kidding? They say it more than I do.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I was okay. My grandson, Kenny, he said a bad word, and he had everybody say, "Now, don't you say that? That's wrong word." So the other day I was over there and I said the F word in front of him, and I said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said." And he came up and he goes, "Grandma, that's a bad word." And I said, "I know." And then I said, "Yeah, damn," or something. "Grandma, bad word." And I said, "I got the idea." Okay. Now the funniest part was I made a bundt cake for Mother's Day.
Oh, and he said that was a bad word?
No, he started calling it butt cake. Said, "You made a butt cake?" And I said, "No, dear, bun." He said, "That's what I said, butt." So it has become the joke that dirty words and butt cake. So anyway, Mark and I also have been discussing what the direction of the show. We gather everybody likes the content Mark's been giving, and so therefore we want to develop and expand on it. We also I know there were a couple of our guests that did really well, aside from Richard Halpern, who is, you know, a world legend. Um, we love you, Richard. I'm just kidding.
What
Um,
what are how where are we going in terms of Richard being with us again? I get
well,
that question frequently.
I know we had like 3 or 4 weeks where we haven't had him on, but I am going to drop him a note today, and we'll match up schedules and get him back on, and we can talk about the current state of entertainment or movies or um, the blackening, which I want to see that so bad. That looks hilarious. Is it?
Not,
It. I was on the no Rec Music, Rec Arts TV, uh, um, Usenet news group the day that they started the thing about who's well. Look at who it is that's always the first to die in horror movies. And we all agreed it was the nice, friendly black guy. He's always the first to die. And then it's the chubby guy. He dies next. And then after that, it's the slightly evil guy who's been working with the bad guys. And so there's a sequence of people who die in movies. Well, somebody decided that what if everybody in the movie's black? Who dies first?
well, I mean, they must assuredly have made an all black horror movie.
No, well, no, they haven't.
Oh, somebody must have.
Well, maybe back in not a first class one, maybe one of those
Oh yeah, like the
station
Wayans
films.
brothers. Well, the Wayans brothers did that. What was it? A scary movie.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wasn't
but
that
it
the
wasn't all
Wayans?
black. There were 2 or 3 Latino actors, and so yeah, it wasn't. This one is all black, and it's like, okay, who's going to die first? So the
Well,
whole concept is hilarious. So
it's whoever says I'll be right back.
yeah, exactly. Either
Remember that
that or
was in Scream. They talked about who got killed in horror movies, and it was always the guy who was going to the cellar to get some beer or something, and he'd say, "I'll be right back."
and then that's
And
when it gets off screen. But so those are the things we can talk about with Richard, the entertainment oriented things. I know a lot of you like Carolyn, with the her
Contest Queen.
contest queen. Thank you, and we're very interested in that. A lot of you are interested in the UFOs. Preston and Dolly, um, bless their hearts, and so tell us what you want to hear, what you want to see,
Maybe
and
we could get Carolyn to work on a contest where they could go up in one of the UFOs with Dolly.
oh,
No? Okay.
going up in tin cans now, very bad idea.
Yes, we have learned from a certain man in a submarine.
Yeah. Oh, that I mean, to talk about things, it just amazes me what people can talk themselves into. I mean, there were 2 people, a man and his son, who walked up to the wherever they were waiting for the people to climb onto the thing, and they looked at it and went, "Yeah, no." And they said, "Well, there are no refunds." He says, "That's fine." They ate $500,000 just so they wouldn't have to climb into that thing.
Well, there
It's
was another man and his son that were killed on it.
Yes, I know. They were able to get on the thing because the other 2 canceled.
Oh boy.
And unfortunately, the son of that duo was terrified. And so, but happily, if you can say happily in such a situation, it was millisecond. The minute that they hit 3.5 miles down, it um, turned them into confetti.
Tons of safety experts had warned them
Yes,
that it was not safe.
over
That
and over again. In
that
fact,
the
the word
use they
that
used carbon fiber where a thick steel would have been a lot
yeah.
more suggested.
Well,
You know, if people blast Elon Musk and Trump.
was there an adoption?
There you go. Well, he's patterned together with Trump so much in these conversations, you can't blame me. But they blast Elon Musk for not uh, traveling in his ships. He's not stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
You're not going
he
up in
will
that thing.
once they get proven enough to show that they're not going to be an issue, then he'll go up. But right now, maybe not.
Yeah, it. I think that I can't even imagine for any amount of money crawling into that thing and going down to the bottom of the ocean. Not the literal bottom, but the available bottom of the ocean.
They went
And
down as far as they were
yeah,
capable. In fact, further than they were capable, as it turned out.
obviously, yeah. And they, we're talking was 5 people,
Yeah,
and three of them being billionaires. So, and one the heir to a billionaire. So I guess that tells us something about money and intellect. But I guess you can. Well, the original Titanic builders clearly were able to talk themselves into believing the same thing these guys did. So, unfortunately, we haven't learned a lot. But yeah, no, that I would hazard a guess is not going to be a good idea for any. Now, these UFO folk, they've been doing it a long time, so they know what they're flying in. And
Melody, do you have a fan blowing in your
yes, I do.
office?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I live in the
Well,
high desert.
well, that's okay. It's blowing on your microphone, so that's why. As long as
Well,
I know what it is, it's nothing you can fix, so
yeah.
it's fine.
Okay. But anyway, the that was a horrible thing that happened, and let's hope that the UFO folk, um, maybe next time they can go down and go, "Hey, knock, 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 idiots, get out of there."
It ain't working.
It ain't gonna work for you. I mean,
See
you know
now,
now that the Navy heard it when it happened.
I heard that. Now you know the reason this show is so much easier to do when there are two of us is because right now Melody and I have not even hit on what we were talking about discussing, and we're a third of the way through the show. Whereas when I am doing it by myself, I am desperately grasping at something
Why
else
do
to
you
talk
think you're
about.
here, Mark? I did that by myself too. I know it really sucks. I can't even imagine how anybody does this by themselves. It
Yeah,
you
well,
have
you
to
know,
have.
I did an audio podcast for a year or two, uh, that Podcateer
Yeah.
on Disney. And actually, it still exists. If you go to podcateer.com, you can find my old episodes. It's still out there. It's on Podbean.
Yeah.
That was my source of streaming back at the time, although it wasn't really streaming. It was a recorded show broadcast over iTunes and
Right.
everything. So, but like I said, if you want to listen to it, it's still out there. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about starting it back up again as an audio podcast in addition to this podcast
Great.
because I have an annual pass. Pardon my motion there. I have an annual pass to Disneyland, which you can see behind me here. So I would like to use that to create some content, both for this show and for that show. So we'll see if I do it or not.
Cool.
And I wouldn't count on it, but I might.
Well, again, that's another thing. How interested in Disney are you guys? Here in Southern California, Disneyland is an institution, and we've all been institutionalized.
Yep. We've been institutionalized.
But, and by the way, you people who own houses near Disneyland, who bought houses there, of course they have fireworks. Did you see the show? Walt Disney's World of Color? Or whatever.
The only ones of you that have a legitimate complaint is if you lived there before they opened the park. And
Right.
since it was an orange grove, that's none of you.
Yeah. None of you were there unless you're a beaver. Okay? If you're some kind of wild animal, I know there are no beavers in Orange County. I have a stuffed one. That's why I said that. But if you live in orange trees, then you got a bitch. But otherwise, you don't. You knew they were there. And, if I can't even imagine why the explosions? I mean, that's like booking a room at the, what is that place called in Vegas? We stayed there. The place with the pirate ship. And then complaining because you got cannons going off in the middle of the night.
Treasure Island.
Thank you, Treasure
That's
Island.
the name of it. Oh, did you know they're tearing down the Mirage?
It doesn't surprise me. God knows. Everybody's wanted for a long time.
Somebody else has bought it and is turning it into something else.
Well,
Vegas is not what it used to be.
No. Well, it wasn't what it was before either.
It was open desert before, but
but in the beginning, I mean, all of the old hotels. In fact, I think if they rebuilt all the old hotels like the classic ones, it might actually help. The builders don't think things through. I mean, the MGM Grand being a good case in point with the lion as the entrance, and not realizing that Asian people would not be walking. Well, people from those countries wouldn't be walking through the mouth of a lion. And Vegas is like that. They don't think things through as well. They haven't in the past. They've gotten better about it, but then so is Los Angeles and the New York too, Wisconsin. That's a state. That's not a city. Okay, Anaheim. We're still waiting on you. But anyway, I'm sorry. I had my allergy medication. Claritin makes me stupid.
It's still better to have melody like this than not at all.
Yeah, there you go.
But
And we
just
had
to
two for a second there, and then they went. Oh,
just
she's
to
on there.
it keeps bopping back and forth between one and two. I think it's two, but it just varies back and
It,
forth.
it's actually more
Okay.
than that. Over on Twitter, we've got like 200.
Well, we
But
had six on here last week, so I
eh,
don't know if it was because it was just me
yeah,
or
I
what
think
it
that
was.
says something.
No, I don't.
But
Uh, let me show some of the things I was
yeah,
intending on showing. All right, what Melanie and I were discussing and something I noticed while out at Disneyland this week. I bought my annual pass again, so you'll be hearing me talking about going to Disneyland a lot. I went on Friday,
he did.
and
I was a witness.
a couple of weeks earlier, I went with my daughter and grandkids again. We went, and then we also went out to downtown Disney couple days after that. So, anyway, I'm going to be going to Disneyland a lot. Now, this particular slide I have up here was from 2014 and demonstrated the fact that Disney liked rock and roll. They had a lot of independent rock bands out there at the park. Later on, they brought in the Mad Tea Party over at California Adventure, which was, they were Disney hired musicians, but they played non Disney music. And it was really popular for a long time, and then they killed it. And since then, they've had very little live music at Disneyland. In downtown, not downtown, in Tomorrowland, they have the Tomorrowland Terrace, which is a stage that moves up and down, and that uh, has been turned into a children's show in the evening with Star Wars characters. They used to have a Elvis impersonator that played there by the name of Scott Bruce, and
Yep.
he was very good. He kind of looked like William Campbell, the guy, not William Campbell, William Bruce
Yeah,
Campbell.
William Campbell is the fake Paul.
Well, no, William Campbell was in Star Trek. He played that all-powerful guy that played the harpsichord. I forget his
Oh,
character
okay.
name, but and he was in The High and the Mighty with John Wayne. And but Bruce Campbell's the one that did
Yeah,
the Army of
Bubba Hotep.
Darkness. Yeah, Army of
Bubba Hotep.
Darkness,
Yeah.
and Scott Bruce had a slight resemblance to him. And he had the whitest teeth I ever saw, except for that guy that used to be on that home with. God, I can't remember the names of the people. It was like a
Tell me about.
home. It was a home remodeling show, and it had this one sexy-looking young carpenter guy named
Ty
like Tyler or
Ty
Travis or
Pennington.
huh?
Ty Pennington.
Yeah, him, that guy.
Yeah.
And the gay guy with black hair, he had the whitest teeth. He'd like blind you when he smiled. We My daughter and I saw them out at. They used to have this thing at Disneyland. Well, this was a California Adventure called the Disney Afternoon, and they would have all of these stars from the different television shows that were all on ABC.
I
And
know you guys saw Frank.
break.
from another show. Never mind. Go
Oh,
ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, but we saw the guys from Lord of the Rings that played the little tiny people. We saw those two guys. We saw the guy that played Sipowicz on NYPD Blue. He was there. They had the whole cast of that home. I forget what the show was called now. But anyway, that home
Trading
remodeling
Places.
show on. No, it was a home remodeling show where they would go in and some
Trading
poor.
Places.
No,
Trading
that was
Spaces.
a. No, it wasn't. It was some. It was called like Extreme Home
Oh,
Remodel.
yeah, that's Ty Pennington. Extreme
Yeah,
Home Remodeling.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, that show. Then that show turned out to be a little phony. Turned out some of those things were fixed,
Yeah. Well,
and other
also
people
the
were paying for the work.
yeah.
So, not good.
Nope, not good at all. But there were, there was stuff about it at the time that sounded weird. So the you just listen to the industry, not the social media. Social media lies, but if you listen to industry sources, they tip you off. But the what was I going to say? Oh, one of the factors in the rock music with the copyrights is because all of these rock stars, especially the big ones, are marching
Dead.
close to the edge of yeah, and they're all in their 80s now. So uh, when Paul goes, yeah, we
Well,
got
Paul
what?
doesn't own his own music anymore anyway.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he
Since
not
when?
only owns his own music, he owns other people's music too.
How did he get that? Because Michael Jackson beat him in an
Michael Jackson
auction.
had to sell what he paid the bundle, which were just the early Lennon and McCartney songs, like um, I Want to Hold Your Hand and those. They he sold them back um, to
Sony.
Sony, but at the 50-year mark, they did automatically went back to McCartney and Yoko. They were
Only 50
automatically
years? I
given
thought it was longer than that.
no 50. Go check it.
Well, I know that a lot of people believe that Michael Jackson's death was somehow related to his ownership of all of that music and the fact that Sony wanted it.
Yeah, Sony did. I mean, he didn't even own it at the time of his death. So I'd be
I may
happy
have
to
to do a
consider.
little looking into that. We'll talk
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
that more next week. We'll talk about that more next week.
Okay, but no, I'm pretty sure at that point it had he had to sell it off just to keep his um, house of whatever going. So anyway, but we do know McCartney has ownership now over. Well, he doesn't by himself. He and Ringo and Olivia, who's Harrison's widow, and Yoko, all control the Beatles, all the full songbook. So, uh, but as they pass, and Yoko will probably be before them. She's 85, I think 86, and not doing well.
Well, Paul's
Uh,
81, so he's not
Paul's
far
81,
behind.
but he's doing. I mean, the man can stand on his head. But Ringo is in even better shape. So they could live to be 100. Yeah, they literally could. So, but there are the Stones to deal with, and there's just a whole lot of copyright uncertainty, and everything's been thrown up into the air because of various things going on behind the scenes when it comes to other countries and copyrights. So I think Disney is just backing off a little and being careful. And that's what they are more than anything. And we can hope that we'll hear rock again at Disneyland. But I mean, when I was a young girl, the only rock and roll we heard down there was Flash Cadillac and the Continental Kids. And that was all 50s music. So
I don't
the
think they ever played at Disneyland.
Pardon?
I don't think they ever played at
Oh,
Disneyland.
yeah, they did. Yeah, I saw them at Disneyland 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Yep.
I used to see them at Knott's at the John Wayne Theater.
I was
They
with
used
you.
to
I
play
know.
there.
Yeah. We used to go. And they would play at Knott's. They played at the Mickey Mouse Theater at Disneyland. They played at the Tomorrowland Terrace at Disneyland. They played a number of different venues there. The Mickey Mouse Theater was the worst.
They must have played a lot different style of music when they played there than when they played at... Well, I saw them at the Palomino Club in Hollywood.
Well, no.
And they were a lot different at the Palomino Club.
I saw them at the Palomino Club, too, many times. And yes, I know. But they did the same music that they did at Knott's. We had just been talking about Knott's. It was the same show they did at Knott's. No, they didn't talk about the things that, it was a more G-rated show. But they were a great rock band. They were one of the best. And they're all gone but one now. So
Sam's still alive, right?
no, Sam.
I thought
Sam
he was
passed.
still alive. Which one's still around?
The sax player.
Okay, that was the one with the toupee.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah,
he was bald-headed back when they used to play together, and he used to
Yeah.
wear a toupee.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still alive. He's the one who kept the group going. And Sam's gone. Of course, the fellow that everybody called Angelo, who played piano, died of ALS. And Spike died while we were still seeing them, I believe. But he died on stage. So
Really?
yeah. And it wasn't long after they shot the Happy Days episode.
Huh.
So, but yeah, they're almost all gone now. But they lived very hard lives and a lot of cocaine.
I only know two people that died on stage. Irene Ryan,
Right.
that played Granny on
Right.
Beverly Hillbillies. She was in a play and she died on stage. And Tiny Tim.
Yeah.
Remember Tiny Tim?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he died on stage. Some ukulele thing he was doing. It was like everybody that was there was playing the ukulele.
Yeah.
Since
Dick
that's
Shawn,
what he was famous for.
Dick Shawn, the actor who was also stand-up comic, who was the fellow who played.
He was in Birdcage.
Yeah, he was in Birdcage. He was also in what is it called? The Producers.
In The
Uh,
Last Starfighter.
yeah,
Was it that him in The Last Starfighter?
I think so.
Or no, I think no, it was somebody else. He looked like him, but I don't think it was Dick Shawn. We saw Dick Shawn one time on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah,
I don't remember where we were going, but he pulled up next to us and he had a ladder sticking out the top of his convertible. And he was all jazzed because we recognized him.
yeah, I vaguely remember that. I guess he didn't
And,
get recognized a lot back then.
well, we used to go up there and show people around, you know.
Yeah, anybody who'd come to town who wanted to see LA, you know.
Yeah, we'd take him up there. Elvis had a house up there in the hills. Remember, he had musical notes on his gate.
Yeah,
And it was like a home away from home from him when he was out here recording, doing movies and stuff.
all superstars have multiple houses.
And oh, we saw what's her name? Farrah
And
Fawcett. We saw Farrah Fawcett jogging
yeah,
one time,
I
and
talked to the lady who played the mother on the Wonder Years. She walked up to me and asked me if I chanted, and I said, "You mean like Ong Niamo yada yada?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." She says, "You can tell." And she says, "We're going up here to chant. If you want to come with us." I said, "No, that's okay."
well, I know when we were in Washington D.C., we ran into this comedian, and I can never remember her name. She had a real nasal voice, and she was in tons of things. I'm gonna have to dig her. I got a picture of her someplace with Beverly's mom. She took a picture with her, but she was in a. She always had a real smart alecky attitude, and she was a little chubby. And like when I show you her picture, it's like,
Not
oh yeah, that
Roseanne, obviously.
no, no. It was before Roseanne, but it was. She had a similar, not quite as smart alecky attitude.
But Paula Poundstone, maybe?
No, no. This lady was kind of chubby. Paula Poundstone wasn't
Just then,
wasn't
yeah.
wasn't heavy.
Um, Melissa
Oh,
McCarthy, but that's way before Melissa McCarthy.
hang on. We had two comments.
Oh,
Hello,
we do. Hello, hello.
and how is Richard Halpern
Yeah,
doing?
we
That's
discussed
always we
Richard
always get that one.
Halpernapalooza. He's last I heard, he's doing great, and he's been very busy, and we hope to have him on very soon.
Yep, it's not our fault. He's just too damn busy.
Yeah, he's got too much to do. He's in demand. So
So, like Melody was talking about, all of you that want something in particular out of a podcast or out of this particular podcast, and we'll bend over backwards to try to make it something for you to watch. So,
that would
uh,
kill me, but you know,
well, I can't really bend over backwards
we can
either,
also
but
talk eBay and reselling and that kind of thing if you're interested in that.
Melody and I
Certainly know
both
how.
have a
I can.
long stretch on eBay.
Yep. It's actually improved a little over the last 2 months.
the The taxes are what bothers me
Yeah.
with eBay. That's why I've stopped selling on eBay because it's not worth. Here's the problem. I buy something, okay? So I bought this. Here we go. I bought this, and I paid $10 for it. Then I keep it 30 years and I decide I want to get rid of it, and they've become collectible for some reason, and they're now worth $50. Okay, so I put this on eBay and I sell it for $30. Well, they charge me tax on $30, not on the $20 profit I made, but
But not the
on
full amount.
the full amount. So I lose out on my original investment. So that's where I have a problem. And if I've got some item that I'm selling for $300 that I paid $100 for, I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take the hit for the $30 tax on the original 100 that I paid for the thing. I mean,
Yeah,
because then I'm not going to make any money at all.
exactly.
Now, when I first got into eBay, they did not tax your sales on eBay. And the fees were much less. When I started, they had a deal where if you sold something for less than $10, the fee was a quarter. So I used to concentrate on selling things for less than $10. It was all, $3.95, $5.95, and the shipping was reasonable back then. You could
Yeah.
ship something for $2 or $3. Now it costs you a fortune to ship something, and with the cost of the fees and the taxes and the cost of shipping, it's just not worthwhile selling
Not
on eBay.
at your. I mean, I'm a writer, so I don't make what you do for a living.
Right. It's
So for me,
the
it's worth it.
tax level. I'm at a 33% tax bracket.
Yeah, I
So
am not.
they
So
eat me alive whenever I sell anything. So I just stopped.
yeah,
So IRS, don't come after me for my eBay profits because I don't sell on eBay anymore.
there you go. Well, I still do. Um, I had an interesting thing happen yesterday. We went around to some of the yard sales, which is a very good place to source from. And I picked up a couple of dolls that had no feet. Well, I knew what they were. And my husband's going, "They're missing feet." I said, "Yeah, I know. Watch this." So I said, "How much for this?" "Oh, 25 cents each." So I gave her 50 cents. I knew that they were Bratz dolls. On Bratz, they don't mess with shoes and feet. They make them the same thing. So these dolls were just not wearing any shoes. Somebody who has Bratz dolls will have those feet for them. So Bratz dolls are the big thing now. They're almost eclipsing the Monster High dolls. And they go for 30, 40, $50 each. So the ones I got, they're marked up and stuff. So I put them up for $15 each, and they were gone before I even reached for the thing to write it on the box.
Good
So
deal.
yeah, that's how to do it. I paid 50 cents for them. I made $30. And yeah, I could have put them up there and let them sit and sold them for 50, but why? You know. So
Well,
that's the kind of eBay I do.
well, I'll tell you a little story of what things used to be like. And this has a Disney connection. I was once in Disneyland back when I used to have my old pass, and I was in the Adventureland gift shop. And this lady comes walking out of the back of the Adventureland gift shop with two bags. One of them was Thai Beanie baby harp seals, and the other one was Thai Beanie Baby Figaro the cat from Pinocchio. Now, the baby harp seals at that time were selling on eBay for $400 a piece. And the Figaro the cats were selling for $50 a piece. So these were very popular Beanie Babies. This was at the peak of the Beanie Baby, whatever you want to call it, thing. So I asked the lady, and
Psychosis.
yeah. So I asked the lady when she's coming out of the back, and I said, "Pardon me, is there a limit to the number of those that I could buy?" So she calls the manager and she says, "Is there a limit to how many he can buy?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Then I will take them all." She said, "All?" And she says, "There's 100 of them in here." And I says, I know. I said, "I'll take all of these and all of those, the Figaros." And she said, "You want all of these stuffed animals?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "You know they're $3.99 a piece." I said, "That's okay. I have a Visa Gold Card." So I bought them all with my Visa Gold Card. I left for the day because I didn't want to carry around all these things with me.
No.
So actually, I'm sorry. I had them hold them for me, and then I came back and got them on the way out. That's right. So, and I made her put them in the back room so nobody would mess with them. Well, I took those to the Glendale All American Toy Show. It just so happened Melody and her husband came by that show. And I had these at a toy show, and they were very popular. I sold them all before the show started, and I got at least $100 for each one. So I sold 100 of them for $100 a piece. So we're talking very good $10,000 worth of money.
Yep.
that I
Excellent.
that I paid like $400 for at Disneyland.
There you
give
go.
you give you an idea. The Figaros, I think I paid $50 a piece. I think I got $20 a piece for them,
You
and
paid.
I sold all of those too.
Yeah.
And
The
there was
Figaros are still good.
somebody came up to me and asked me, he says, "Why in the world did you sell those for half price? You could have gotten a lot more money for them." And I said, "Look, I'm walking out of this show with about $13,000 or $14,000 in cash in my pocket. You're going home with a bag full of stuffed animals." I said, "Maybe you'll get lucky." And he was feeling like they'd be $1,000 a week, in a couple of weeks. Well, that's just about that times when the bottom started dropping out of the Beanie Baby market.
It cratered like a big time. Yep. I
And
know. Well, that's the problem with dealing in toys because about three-quarters of the value is sentiment. And it's the same thing with costume jewelry. Right now, Trifari is huge, but 10 years from now, it might not be, and there aren't any diamonds and emeralds and things to hold up the value. But
do
at the
you
same
sell
time,
costume? Do you
pardon?
sell costume jewelry?
I have, yeah.
We need to talk about that after the show.
Okie dokie. I sell everything. I mean, I've got I'm looking at my sourcing shelf. I've got everything from a little metal. What do they call those lunch boxes in Japan? What are those? To a nosy bear from Fisher Price, and an American brilliant glass bowl, and about 20 other things. So, yeah.
Well, the two hot things at Disneyland right now seem to be the Mr. Toad popcorn bucket,
Oh, yeah.
which is almost impossible to find. I tried to find you one, but
That's life.
they have the Mickey uh, chrome popcorn buckets shaped
Right.
like Mickey's head.
Yeah.
They have a whole bunch of those. Those are
Oh,
all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah.
And they have the Sully ears
Oh, yeah.
that have like little spots on the ears.
Right.
And those are real popular right now, although they just got a big bunch of them. So you're going to see the value
Crater. Yeah.
drop off on them.
Well, that's the way of things. It's like the little round soda bombs they have there that they sell in Galaxy's Edge. I got 4 of them. Is Diet Coke when yeah, exactly. And now they're worth what?
I pulled this one. I pulled this one out of a trash can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
you
there
can
weren't
pull them out
something,
of trash cans now.
if there weren't something, I got a good bargain.
At what time it was $15 to $20 each. Now,
Wow,
uh-uh.
trash can.
Yeah,
Because people don't want to carry this around all day,
yeah.
So
It's uncomfortable to have in your hand, and you can't just. Although it has a flat bottom, so you can sit it down,
but it rolls pretty easy.
easy. Yeah, especially if it gets windy down there, which it often does, because it's not far from the shore. So the yep.
We have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes to go. Believe it or not.
Really? Well, there you see. Okay, then,
Now,
guys, let us know. Let us hear from you. My email address is melody23@gmail.com. You guys know where I am on Facebook, and drop us a message to Mark or to me, and let us know what you want this to be. And
yeah, well, you can have a custom podcast made just for you.
I was going to launch into one of those as seen on TV commercials, but I don't want to try that on Claritin. That might be dangerous. All right, you guys have a great week, and maybe I'll see you next week. You will see Mark.
Yeah, I will be here. Let me make a little comment since I borrowed this picture.
Yes.
A friend of mine who is a Facebook admin in one of the Disney groups, his name is Bill Cotter. Bill Cotter was a photographer for Disney for a long time. He is on, if you watch Disney Plus and you watch any of the behind the attractions things, you'll see him on there frequently. Well, watch on there, and you'll see Bill Cotter on there once in a while describing a ride. And he took this picture before the park was open. As you can see, there's nobody
That's
there.
an empty park.
Yeah. So I have a few pictures like that. He doesn't like people to use them a lot, but I figured as a backdrop on a podcast,
He won't care.
he won't care. And I won't use it all the time, just today.
All right.
So anyway, all right, we're a minute past our D-date.
Okay.
Melody may not be back next week. We'll see how
I
she
probably
feels.
will. I probably
We'll see how she feels. If she feels up to it, we'll allow her back. since it's her damn podcast.
I guess so. All right. You guys have a great week. Talk to you later.
Yep, and I'm sorry I'm fuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a brother.
Yep.